Hello, this is Alert Day Trading. I hope you're all doing well. Today I just wanted to talk about when to raise your stop loss. And that's been a question that I've been trying to perfect myself. And basically, what I think it comes down to is what your risk to reward is for that trade. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you a trade I took on Monday. It was with RUN, and I was using the 1 minute chart. And as you can see, this red line here, that's the all-time high of the stock. And so as the trade broke above that level, that's when I got interested. So if we zoom into, I'm just going to keep this as our chart. So here's where we broke above the all-time high. You can see some consolidation, and as we broke even more above these levels, that's where I entered the trade, and I had a stop loss below these candles. So if we put, this will be my entry, and then my stop loss is going to be right around, I had it at about 31.07 just to kind of give it some room. So I was risking about 25 cents. My entry was 31.32 and my stop loss was 31.07. So that's a risk of 25 cents. So once we reach 25 cents increase or profits, then this trade has become a one-to-one risk to reward. So that's pretty good so far. So I would say in general, your goal should be to try to get to at least 2 to 1. All right. So if we're entering at 31.32, 25 cents above that is going to be 31.57. So that's right about here. So here is where we take our first profit. And so 25 cents above that will be 31.82, which will be around here. So we're taking profits here now. All right, so here's our entry. Here is our first profit target, and here's our second profit target, and here's our stop loss. So we're risking 1 in hopes to get 2. Okay. So the question is, when should we raise our stop loss to break even? Well, you don't want to risk more to receive less, right? So once we reach our first profit target, if our goal is to try to get to the second profit target, and let's say we keep the stop loss at the original level, that means we're risking now 2 to get 1. So the risk to reward has now flip-flopped. And that, in a way, doesn't really make sense. You don't want to be risking 2 to receive 1. Okay? So I would say the argument would be to raise your stop loss as soon as your first profit target is reached. And now you're only risking 1 to receive 1, which in my opinion is better than risking 2 to receive 1. So what I currently am doing, though, is, let's just say, for example, you have 100 shares you're entering. And I like to take profits with half my position size. So once we reach the first profit target, that would be selling, in that example, 50 shares. Okay, so we've sold 50 shares. So now we have 50 remaining. So what I'm currently doing is raising half of that to break even and leaving the original stop loss with half the position. So if we do break below the break even, we end up first locking in the profits, then we're breaking even, so we're reducing our size. So if we do end up breaking below this stop loss level, it kind of cancels out. You still would be profitable because you sold more at a profit than you sold at a loss. So this would still end up being a profitable trade in that instance. So if you think about it that way, I think that makes sense. The other reason is because when you first took the trade, your target should be to get to this second profit target level at the minimum. So you want to just accept the risk from the start. But like I said, I think raising half of it, of your position after you've already taken profits, you're pretty much guaranteeing that this trade will be profitable. So that's my opinion on raising your on when to raise your stop loss. So just to recap, if your your entry is here, your first profit target is here, your stop loss is here, and your second profit target is here, I think once you reach your first profit target, you raise at least half of your position to break even. So at least half of your position is on a 1-to-1 risk to reward, and then keeping the other half at your stop loss, because that's the risk that you accepted when you entered the trade, and you want to give the trade room to be able to move around if it needs to. And as you can see, this specific trade ended up, I ended up with a risk to reward of 5, almost 6 on this trade, and then the potential was almost 8 risk to reward. I ended up putting a trailing stop loss, so that's a topic for another video. But just quickly touching up on trailing stop loss, once I pass the second profit target, then I pretty much there's good potential for it to get to a third profit target and possibly 4. And I think once you're reaching 3 profit targets and 4, then there is potential for it to continue. So in that case, I would keep taking profits up until about the 4th profit target, and then just put a trailing stop loss, possibly 2 risk levels below, just to give it room to have some pullbacks. And it did work out in my favor. So the highest I was able to sell was 32.72. So this area was the highest that I sold because of my trailing stop losses. So this was a good trade. But anyway, that's my take on when to raise your stop loss to break even, and then just a little bit about some trailing loss as well. If you have any questions, or if you have your own ideas on when to raise your stop loss, or if ever to raise your stop loss, I think there's also some ideas that you should never raise your stop loss. But then again, just going back to that risk to reward, if you don't raise your stop loss, then you could potentially be risking 2 to have 1 reward. So that's the way I'm thinking about it currently. I'm taking statistics on how often when I do break even, will the trade continue and never reaching that stop loss level, or how often when I do get after reaching the first profit target, if I do break even, how often will it continue, and then reaching the stop loss level. So I'm currently doing that half break even and half stop loss after reaching the first profit target. But depending on my statistics, if I notice that maybe more than 50% of the time, every time I go down below break even, it just always stops out, I might end up just always raising my stop loss to break even. But it all depends on risk to reward. So even though it might be whatever percentage you might have, it also depends on when it does work out, what is the risk to reward on that. And so that might make up the difference of losses. All you need is one good trade to cover, 2 to 4 small losses. So it all depends on risk to reward in combination with your winning percentage or whatever percentage you're taking. If you have any specific questions, let me know. I hope this video was helpful. So feel free to send me a message or send a comment. And if you have any questions, let me know. And good luck with your trading. And I hope you all are having a good day.